this is our iconic Letterboxd mic, which you can speak into.
So anyway, about favorite.
Doing well.
So they're the ones I know I could argue for. That's not saying I couldn't argue other ones more, depending on my mood. So I have Lethal Weapon, the characters. Those two characters are two of my favorite characters in film. Murdoch and, come on, Rex. I don't think I remember the first time I saw it because I've seen it so many times. I can't remember if I saw it in a theater or if I saw it on VHS. I've lived on a very small island that didn't have movie theaters, so I'm assuming it must have been VHS first. And it's actually been one of those movies now that I'm getting into directing. When I first started referencing it, I was slightly ashamed. Like, when you're raised under the umbrella of Tarantino, there's an element of, movie education that I don't inherently have. I don't have the nerd brain that he inherently has. So when I was like, oh, it's an action comedy, I felt embarrassed. And then I was like, actually, no, I'm not. That's my jam. I love that stuff. The Matrix. If we're in the world of action, I'm sticking within the world of action. I had to give myself some parameters. I remember that one. I was living in West Auckland and I went into the movie theater. I was planning on getting stoned, but forgot to, ironically. And I remember walking out being like, thank God I wasn't. So didn't need to be. The action and the context blew my mind. I remember walking out being like, oh, you can have an action movie that makes me question life? Like, what? It was the first time I remember walking out. I've had those moments since, but it was the first time I remember walking out of a theater and going, holy shit, what I do could be really, really cool. Like, I'm part of that. I had never really put that together. Leon the Professional. I remember the first time I saw that. The relationship got me more than anything else. The way he had those two characters bounce off each other and the honesty that both of them showed up with. It was sort of that European film in a very westernly digestible movie that I just was like, yep, crossing those boundaries was awesome. Neverending Story. That one I remember seeing because I was living on Waiheke and we didn't have a movie theater, so we were in the, I think, town hall, and there were sheets stuck to the wall, fold out chairs. I can remember the lollies. They tasted like medicine. I loved them. And I remember bawling when the rock man was falling apart and the nothingness was coming and the whole, call my name, Sebastian. Call my name. That was iconic. I don't know if that counts as an action film, but it goes down as a favorite without a doubt.